How are we, ladies and gentlemen? Jake, a.k.a. Countdown, ended the Chiari Kid, bringing you the best of WWE 2025 as we put the year to rest. We're here today to pay our respects to the year that was 2025. And of course, as always, I'm not alone. I got the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Cody Onidi, 316.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? And I'm not hallucinating. I'm not smoking. I'm not drinking. But did Jake just say the best of 2025? Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah. There was
how much
some
of a
good.
list do we have for that? Was there?
I think we got 4 bullet points.
What list was longer? The good or the bad?
The bad by like a couple miles. That list was.
This is why I said
very
if
long.
you see a time difference in this video compared to the bad one, blame WWE and are we talking AEW in this or no?
Not in this one, but it's
okay. But blame WWE and Triple H, Sesame Street Levesque, whatever you like to call him,
yeah.
for his sensitive, safe Sesame Street booking. I want to go on a rant here because you'll probably get more out of this rant than you'll get good things that this man did.
Exactly. AEW's up on the chopping block next. They're going to be combined for best and worst of the year in one video. We've also got a lot more coming up on the channel with Into Somewhere. So
this is just a little teaser. Because this might not be as long. So I want to give you this question first. So there was a little debate on a fellow wrestling podcast channel off the script, like with JD and Solomonster, and they said that they got into a debate because JD said his wrestling promotion of the year was TNA, and Solomonster said his wrestling promotion of the year was AEW. Do you agree with one of them? Disagree with both?
No, TNA had a good year, but it wasn't as good as everybody's remembering. It just because it didn't totally suck. I feel like people were flapping like seals waiting for a fish at the aquarium.
WWE had to carry them through that. I don't.
Well,
think
that's part of it. It was steroid injections one after another. WWE just pumping them full of talent, and it doesn't matter win, lose, or draw. They had the TNA champion on the biggest stage of them all, facing Randy Orton. Joe Hendry. I said his name.
Say his name, man.
We saw what happened there. They elevated the women with the butterfly title originally for their chance, and then the knockouts. Hey, they're great, but we're also going to bring in a TNA champion and present him as a champion. Oh, he got beaten 3 minutes. TNA champ was on WrestleMania. You guys are missing the point here. Like, that was the thing. And when you look back at the major feuds of the year, Order 4 was a standout with Mustafa Ali, but I don't know. They messed up a lot with Joe Hendry. They messed up a lot with Tito, and Santana. I meant to say that, him and his brother. I always mess that up. But yeah, Santana. It's just it's not happening. It doesn't feel good. And if Mr. Mike Santana wants to go ahead and run it back and chop down the block, so be it. But he lost the title in such a floofy way that it just made me eye rolled to the point of a seizure. Not to say that the year was marred in controversy and terrible, but they did a lot of what common wrestling's doing today, where they feel like someone is elevated by losing. The more they lose, the more you want to see them win. But the reality is, the more they lose, the bigger the loser they are. And that sticks out like a sore thumb. I censored myself.
Yes,
but
indeed.
NXT would be my promotion of the year. And I know that.
Would that fall under WWE, or you like to separate that from the main roster?
Yeah, that's separate. I mean, still, yes, WWE main sent down stuff, of course, and I'm not discrediting that. But NXT didn't rely on any main roster talent for feuds.
What
or
about
anything like
Solomonster's take of AEW?
This was a better year than the last several since 2022. I want to say they've had this kind of like tailspin, maybe 23.
But you would have to hope at least there would be a better. It's not saying much. It was better than last year, huh? Or 2 years ago now, right?
But in fans' minds, I mean, look at it. With TNA had been so just piss poor for so long, and the Impact when it was on Twitch started to pick up a little bit better. They listened to the fans again. but they had to go through a lot of growing pains. And for them to achieve that level of greatest promotion, I don't think they're there yet. Not that they're not in the conversation, but I don't think that they've earned that yet. Honestly, it just, there was no like, oh, this is what I walk away from. Like even with AEW, I could point out and be like, all right, the main feud of the year was the Death Riders, Moxley and Hangman. You know, and I can go through each promotion and pick out. For TNA, I mean, it was all over the place because you had Namath as champ at one point, and it just kind of went down the ladder, and everything felt like it was just going through the motions without actually having a plan in mind. And a lot of those cards that they threw together, because they're pre-taped and whatnot, had to be adjusted, and it shows at times. I'm still enjoying TNA. I think it's going to be far improved when they're live regularly. I don't know that they're going live every week on AMC, but that's going to expose them to a gigantic audience. People, oh, cable's dead, blah, blah, blah. Are you ridiculous? I mean, this is where the Walking Dead and Breaking Bad and, you know, all these great shows are from. So that cosign is massive. I'm curious what you think, though. What do you think of these two picking out their promotions of the year? And what would yours be?
See, I honestly, can we say, like, I guess, like, you can say NXT, but I guess I loop that with WWE in a way.
Yeah, which you're totally allowed to do here.
Like, is it fair to say that none of them really deserve it?
Yeah. You're
like
not wrong.
Wrestling was just down, I think, in general the past year in 2025.
Not by the numbers. I mean, this is the biggest stock year for WWE and TKO ever in history.
Like ticket sales, right? I wonder why.
All of it, ticket sales and promotions and live events and merchandising.
Like those hoodies, like the Cody Rhodes and Liv Morgan hoodies, where you like get that tiny logo in the right corner of it, and they'll sell it for a few $100s.
Few hundred, absolutely.
That merchandise,
yeah.
And then there's those dumb fuck fans that got mad at those wrestlers acting like they made the price. That's why, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't think any promotion honestly deserves it. I think TV-wise, every show sucked. If you're going at it from a business aspect, then WWE wins hands down, because I would even argue that AEW isn't really a business.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's just a mark out.
I don't know that anybody deserves it. AEW is got, my biggest thing with them is Tony refusing to do what anything else but what Tony wants. But even still, he still does it the way he, people tell him the pay-per-views are too long. What does he do? He makes it longer. They have the longest in history. People are tired of the lack of story in certain elements, and everything just feels like matches. So what does he do? He adds more tournaments. Like it's what he wants to see. And granted, he's the one paying for it. It's your bankroll, but
I know, like, TV-wise, people got sick of him, but just having him backstage, do you think losing Chris Jericho is a big deal?
Yes and no. I mean, that's a tricky question, honestly, because they iced him off. So he has like no value now to AEW, and the fans have wanted him gone from there for a while. He really kind of overstayed his welcome. He should have left around the time Cody left, and he would have probably been even more desirable to WWE. But him, I don't know. It's a tricky situation because he is up there in age, and I think he's 55, 56, and then on top of it, what you bring him back? You got to make it meaningful somehow. This leads to what? Him tapping out to Gunther too? Is that our answer for every legend that's retiring this year? Tap out to Gunther? So
that's what they want to go with, apparently.
It sounds like it, and that's the scary part. And there are so many issues, and so WWE is putting moments above all else. I mean, really, they're putting profits above all else, but what they're doing so by adapting to the clickbait generation and focusing strictly on TikTokable moments. Everything they do now, they want to squeeze into under 60 seconds. so they could push it out and watch it trend and tell you how many millions of people watched it.
Fair.
I mean, that's really what they go for there. And like you said, does anybody really deserve it? I still wonder. TNA is stuck in TNAing themselves. I don't know why they do it all the time, but they get all this momentum and then they just self-sabotage continually. We've seen it several times this year with certain titles not changing hands, and then NXT was kind of like holding TNA hostage in a way at times too. It kind of felt, and now they're having the jobbers of NXT go in and attack TNA. Remember, TNA, this is not developmental. This is supposed to be on the level of the main roster of Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, Impact. And Impact is getting destroyed by the jobbers from NXT who haven't been on TV in 6 to 8 months. It's optics, yes, but it's not good optics. So I'm not sure anyone deserves it.
That's fair. I don't think so either.
But as we go through with the best moments of the year, I said that rather than have something more structured, I just wanted to have a conversation with you and do a little bit different. I figured we would just kind of remember the year as it came to us and allow certain moments to spark to one another. And someone brought this up the other day, but Becky Lynch really did have a damn good year. And I would say that definitely goes in one of the best categories because she's one that's been there with the company for a while, a long time.
You see the big difference between the Women's Intercontinental Championship and their United States Championship?
And how it was elevated by Becky, yeah. And it's still deemed important, even with Maxine, because now she's going for it again. There's that consistency. She still wants the belt. Well, why would Becky go for the main title? No, I want this one, then that. And, the promo that Becky cut on Punk was fantastic. Really, it was just, I don't want to see her involved. I don't want to see her in the vision. But then when it was happening, it was like, this is pretty cool. She's fitting in perfectly. I liked the heel turn at Mania. I enjoyed a lot of the handling of her and how it transpired between her and Lyra. I just wish that I hope they continue, I should say, that with pushing this mid-card division, because that's one of the standout things on Raw. We mentioned it before, but on our worst list, one of the things I was really upset with is that they forgot Julia. She was, number 2 on the PWI top 250 women last year. This year, was the U.S. champ for a cup of coffee, and now she's hiding in catering. So,
right.
But Becky Lynch, what are your thoughts for the year with her? Is there somebody that stands out to you, or just kind of run with it for moments? I mean,
Becky Lynch, I think she had a career year this past year. Honestly, I think this is actually better than her original The Man Run. Yeah. I think that
she's generating Becky real Lynch,
heat. As a heel, it comes off more natural this time around. Like, I didn't mind the heel turn; it was just the way it was executed. I think people can have their opinions. People say, "Oh, do you need that whole her winning a championship so she can lose it on a Raw?" So that builds up more heat that way, and that's the biggest moment for her. But I honestly think it would have been bigger if you had Lyra get pinned and Becky snaps because you embarrassed me on my return match on the biggest stage of them all. I think that would have been more of a justifiable reason to get mad.
Yeah.
But each their own, and I think besides that, she had a career year, and look at the Intercontinental Championship on the women's side compared to the United States Championship on the women's side. And you can argue, some people might say that SmackDown did great with the Women's United States Championship under the 3-hour format. That title has always been dead in the water, like under the 3-hour and 2-hour format, no matter who the champion was.
Well, I don't know, because they started off with Chelsea Green. They made some progress, but it
wasn't like anything to write home about like it was with Becky
and then
Lynch.
She lost it, and I'm like, well, why take it away from Chelsea, who just did all the work to get this belt over? So it's a negative wrapped in a positive, and I think that's going to be a lot of what we discussed today. So,
Like, I just wanted to compare both of them, and I think that's why I think it shows like sometimes you need like those main event talent holding
absolutely.
like the mid card championship because it elevates the title a lot more.
Yeah, and like you said, the wrestling audience getting angry. What? No, they're reasonable. So then let's spawn this off into who was your top female wrestler of the year?
Ooh,
Since I'm kind of
this is a good
blindsiding
one.
you. I mean, we could name
Io,
off a bunch. Io is certainly up there. Rhea, Liv. I mean,
Rhea, Liv,
Stephanie,
Becky,
Nikki
Stephanie
Bella.
Vaquer, Nikki Bella. I saw something about Stephanie Vaquer having the most wins for the women's side. So
Yeah.
congratulations to her, by the way.
That's
I don't think
my
it might have
pick.
been too soon because look at that. Look at this women's world title run. It's not anything good right now. But
No,
Stephanie Vaquer, probably
that's
going to
definitely
be
my
as
pick.
well.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. She
No,
starts off in NXT. She's double champ very, very quickly.
No,
she
this isn't
ascends.
biased. If Liv didn't get hurt, I think it would have been her. Because she was
Probably
already
because of the ascension and what they had planned for her. Yeah, she would be either women's
People are
champ
going to
or
say I'm
headed
being
to get the
biased.
title.
She definitely won it last year, I think. But
Yeah,
this year,
she was going to be onto something big, and I really feel like, hey, we wouldn't have seen
look
Stephanie
at all the
with title
storylines
yet.
she was on, like the
Exactly.
Nikki Bella stuff, the feuding with like Raquel and Roxanne, that turmoil. Like she was going to start something up with Stephanie. She had all these big programs, and then she unfortunately got hurt. I think she would have been superstar of the year, but Stephanie puts on good matches all the time.
She's very
Stephanie
consistent.
won the
yeah.
most. Very consistent. You don't have to worry about her. Like if you put her in a match, you can put on a 5-star classic with a broomstick. That's how good she is in the ring.
Hot damn.
I've never had an issue with her in ring work because some people think I hate her. That's never been the case because
course
I've
not.
even said that Stephanie in the ring has to pull it back a little bit because the main roster woman can't keep up with her.
Yeah, and that's kind of been shown a few times when she's taken on a few different people. So you're not wrong there. And I joked with saying Nikki. I mean, she fit her role as well as could possibly be delivered, but Nikki doesn't feel deserving. My pick, like I said, I'd go with Stephanie. Yeah,
close to a tie. I think either Stephanie or Becky would have to be.
And you could really nitpick and argue each one. I'm going to
go
with
Stephanie 1, Becky 2.
Absolutely. Stephanie, like I said, she was unprecedented as a double champ. And instead of relinquishing the belt, she's like, no, I'll drop it and I'll do that. Like she continued to put other people over on the way out. Then she gets the main roster and she just destroys it. She wins the Battle Royal, wins the title. The only thing that sucks is the machine let her down. The story. Where were we supposed to go after the big win? Well, Naomi is supposed to still be champ, and I would say one of the better things too was the evolution of Naomi this year. She became a top star in a lot of people's minds because she was finally able to be given the time with a character that she felt like could be fun to present to the audience. They've done stuff with the glow and all that before, and it never really caught on. People liked her, but they never went stir crazy waiting for her to arrive at the arena. Now there's like this fever pitch and people are just eating it up. And it's sad to be like, oh, need to get somebody over, turn them heel. But how many times does that work now?
Not at all.
I feel like it's consistent, but we agree there on the men's side. Oh my God, this is a hard year too, because like whose year was it to me? I would probably say, not just male, female, but like in general, superstar of the year, maybe Dominic. And that's crazy to say that. But when you lay it out and look at how many matches he wrestled, when you look at the work rate, when you look at the consistency of what we got from him time and time again.
Like compared to anyone else on that roster, like he's the only one that shows like, oh, I get better.
Yeah. We've seen improvement. We've seen him genuinely grow before our eyes. Pause. We've seen him become a mix, a hybrid of Eddie and Ray. And it's incredible to witness. And it is really humbling to see. And you see how proud his father is through the pissed off look of wanting to smack his son, obviously with the acting. But keeping kayfabe alive. It's fun for those reasons. And lo and behold, I feel like this is what makes it work. You know, that we got to watch Dom for years. We got invested in him naturally. And then he turned heel. People, oh, how could you turn on your father? And then he didn't turn back. He stuck with it. This is him. And he kept crafting and building, you know. He got a couple of extra Lego sets so he can combine some new pieces. And bam, he's AAA Mega Champion. You know, he's the top champion in the AAA promotion. And then he's the IC champ at Mania with the biggest ovation of the night, I want to say. I truly believe that.
I would say Dominic Mysterio is definitely superstar of the year.
I mean, pop of the night, too, for Mania, no? I feel like that roar the crowd gave him was, oh, my God, next level.
Yeah, because, like a week before, like, it was crazy. He was still getting his traditional boos and all that shit. But,
people
like,
appreciate
after
the work
he won
rate.
that Intercontinental Championship, he got cheered and cheered and cheered until, like, the John Cena stuff. I don't think, and I don't think they're really heels anymore. Like, I know a fan base will get mad, but like Liv and Dom, because they used to insult the crowd, didn't they? I don't think they really do that anymore.
No. Now it's that's less of a go-to for them, I would say. So
because like they get cheered now and they're like, thank you, like they'll do that like instead of.
Exactly.
Like, I think they were joking with Dominic, booing him a little. Then he didn't insult him. He's like, no, guys, we're not doing that anymore. Then they switched it to cheers.
Yeah. And, you know, here's the thing, too. When you look at it all, he's resonated with the audience, which is super important. But it's not because, he's got the hot girlfriend. It's not because, he's a champion.
Their characters are special. Listen, their characters are special. Like Dominic and like they... Because when they turn face, they don't need to be happy-go-lucky out there. They can keep the characters they got now, but just use it on the bad guys. They can still lie, cheat, and steal.
Oh, yeah. Not? You would think, but...
As bad guys? As good guys, I could say, right?
Yeah.
Like, would you...
We've seen it work before.
Do you not buy that?
No,
good guys
absolutely. We've seen that happen a multitude of times, and we know it works. It's a trope as old as time for a reason. And this is where I get upset because it's like fans argue about it, but I'm like, why are you arguing or fighting against any of this when this is literally, kind of what you wanted? No, you guys
you want them to be the most important thing in the company. That's why they need to be good guys. They're not gonna get. They need to get their WrestleMania moment, win every year. But like, they're not going to do that when they're going into every WrestleMania or big pay-per-view as heels.
Yeah.
It's not going to work like that.
I don't know how that's continually forgotten, but it is. And that's the unfortunate part of it. So
like, I think I just know like the business a little more than, I'm not saying I'm like a wrestling mastermind, but I just know like they're going to make more money as like the anti-heroes.
I think that's the common sense that they're just lacking because they're so focused on the scope of things and making it broader and wider.
Yeah. And I think Dominic is just going to get better from here on out. And because maybe on January 1st, 2027, we're going to say Dominic was the superstar of the year for 2026. And he likely could be because he's always one of the best acts on the show.
Yeah. And as you touched
Dominic,
on,
you are superstar of the year.
Yeah. And look at how he finished the year. I mean, yeah, he's slightly injured, but he's not going to be out long now, reports say. Glad they didn't make him drop the belt, immediately like they've done with others and give it a chance for it to simmer, see what happens. But his match against Cena, then his tag match, then his singles match again, winning the belt back, all of that was so special. And I'm glad he got to utilize his talents with Cena in such a way that will stand the test of time. Because now, not only do you have Cena taking the belt from him, but then losing it as well. So, like, you're part of Cena's retirement. You are forever even if Dom does nothing, and he's achieved more than just being Cena's, opponent, but still, like, you'll forever have that accolade built in because of what you achieved with that. That's why I really feel like, the connection he has with fans, everything all together, he's just got it, night and day ahead of it. And I don't think he's the best male wrestler of the year, but he's certainly up there for me. With again, stacked. We say it over and over, but like talent like this, my God, Orton, Punk, Styles, Dominic, Ray, Gunther.
But when you based it off that, like, are you going just in ring? Because I think in ring sometimes might be your last important thing on the list.
Yeah, to a certain
Story,
extent. I mean,
character.
it's however you
is
want
more
to
important than the
define it.
in-ring
I don't
aspect.
have parameters for this one. However you feel as in your heart would work. Honestly, because my thought with it really is like, hey, how do we go ahead and bridge this forward? Well, I feel like it is more in ring with this, because that's why I said like superstar of the year in my mind went to Dom. That's kind of all encompassing. I guess male wrestler, like female wrestler, I was thinking more in ring with Stephanie. And for me, you know, it's got to be Cena this year, because
Yeah.
even with the shitty heel stuff going on, the man put on.
You know what? The retirement tour
matches.
sucked, but that you can argue that was still one of the better things. But match quality wise, though, Cena was putting on some of the best matches in that company
in his career. Like it's in the entire locker room, the roster room. Everybody they were rocking out. Let me save that. And I don't blame them. He was wrestling like it was 15 years ago, and he had just beaten the Nexus. Like that. That's how it felt.
Right.
We got exuberant, young, effervescent, energetic, such a smart ass John Cena. And that's why I like the Deadpool-esque fourth wall breaking nature that is John Cena, because it worked for me in some way. Like, I knew it was a kid's act. I knew what they were geared towards, but I could appreciate the innuendos, the wink and the nods. But now, watching us grow up with him and seeing how the things adapted and changed, he learned how to listen to the audience. He learned how to become a better person in the back and be helpful and put other people over besides himself. That's extremely important. So, hey, Cena, just the AJ Styles match. You got people that only wrestled one or two matches, a handful. Like, look at Roman. How many did he wrestle this year? 5? War Games, Mania, Survivor Series against the Tribal
Roman's,
Thief.
I think, going to be taking on a heavier schedule now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said Roman, right?
Yeah, it seems to be. Sorry, I'm choking over here. But yeah, it seems like that's going to be the case, because he wants to be champion and he wants to go ahead and have that happen. But I don't know how sold I am yet. But
okay,
we'll
I want to
see what
go
happens.
Promo of the year.
Ooh. All right. The instant thought. Well, wait, really quick. Who did you say your male wrestler of the year was? Did you agree with Cena?
Superstar, like Dominic, at a male wrestler, then Cena. Yeah.
All right. We'll lock that in. Okay. So promo of the year. I keep going back to it. The bald fraud night after Punk got screwed, and, fucking Cena capitalizes on the moment that Seth stomps him, and he hates The Rock. He hates Cena. He hates Seth Rollins, and he just tears into them. And it was great. I remember seeing that. It was oh God, I'm trying to think. I know it was in March 4th, I want to say. And it was just so goddamn good. And he just goes out there. He nailed it like he always does. And he's like, I'm going to get us canceled off of Netflix right now. Listen up, Dwayne, you bald fraud. He's like, just because you're on the board of directors, you're immune from criticism. You don't know what you're dealing with. Yeah. And he goes off. He's like, you haven't graced us with your presence to do all your bullshit, your goosebumps. Like, it was eclectic in a way. It was so surreal to hear somebody berate The Rock, probably off script. And then the way that he outlined Cena's heel run so expertly. He's like, I can see you. I can see through you. And I gave you the benefit of the doubt. You didn't qualify. And he's like, now you're not going to, think twice. Well, fool me once. And it was so good.
I think either that, I debate back and forth between that or the John Cena doing his own pipe bomb.
Oh, that was so damn good. And that's why I like the way that we didn't even think about it. But CM Punk ending his promo saying, hey, Mr. Never Give Up. You're going to give up because you gave up on yourself. You gave up on all these people, all the kids. The joke is on you, and I'll see you down the road. And he's not wrong. He literally said, like, holy shit. Yeah, you see what's coming? Well, guess what? That's not all. And he's right. John gave up. And John tapped out. That's why people are upset. But like you said, we got Word Life, Punkonomics. And then before that, we get the promo of the century from Cena. He does the pipe bomb, calls out other wrestlers not in the company who come back for his retirement tournament.
Castagnoli, Nick Nemeth, Matt Cardona.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was really just that excellent. And I give it to you.
I might go Cena's pipe bomb.
Yeah. It's a hell of a promo.
Of the year. That is one of the better moments in a while.
It worked. And then, like Cena said on the Cody interview, he really went ahead and he wanted he liked the moment that Punk had with the fan apologizing for his tweet comments and all that and the blood money stuff. So it was genuine, and the fans went from booing Punk when he arrived. He apologizes, which I took as sincere. I mean, it seemed that way. And then the crowd just adored him from there on out. It was like, oh, he apologized. We're good. Because they were booing the shit out of him at signings, at everything. And then he apologizes. It goes viral, gets to Raw. That's power. And Cena facilitates that. Cena helps make these things happen. And like you said, with him calling out Claudio and Nick and Matt, and it's just incredible. What a time to see these things. And that's what was really so disappointing about the Cena stuff, was how it turned out, because there were so many moments like this where you were like, holy shit. He doesn't say anything at the press conference the first time. And you're like, damn. Then they had to keep doing it. And then the stuff with R-Truth didn't really work. But those interactions between him and CM Punk was worth every bit of the heel turn just to witness that.
Fair.
Absolutely.
You're talking about
CM Punk, and John Cena.
Punk, yeah.
John Cena doing the pipe bomb. So that certainly added a lot.
Speaking about
for me.
moments.
Yes.
What is your moment of the year overall?
Oh, God.
Is it the John Cena heel turn?
I don't know that's definitely it.
I think if we're going off moment alone, that's it now, because promo the bald fraud thing, it didn't lead up to anything. But
no, well, it was basically like that's the problem. They didn't follow through, and then we had to wait till Money in the Bank or Night of Champions to cash in.
If you can argue that the promo of the year, can't you argue Cena's heel turn being moment of the year?
Oh, you certainly can. I don't think it's an impossible scenario to work around your head.
I honestly don't think there can be anything bigger than John Cena turning heel.
Yeah, I don't remember anything that would be anywhere near that. And I'm also viewing it like, in
Sports
hindsight,
Illustrated
knowing
had
how it
Naomi's
turned out.
heel turn bigger than John Cena's heel turn. That's fucking ridiculous.
It would have to be something severe, and we didn't get anything that was that impactful, that was that truly memorable. Mania this year would have been talked about pretty much for the women's triple threat, and then what? Oh, we had a bad match with Cena, and Seth got Paul Heyman, who now already turned on him. Like, that felt even more of a waste. So I totally get it. And it's got to be Cena's turning heel. How could it not be? I mean, I still like the moment. The moment itself in the chamber is great. I just wish it had better context, better rhyme, better reason.
Well, moment. It's one of the biggest moments in all of wrestling.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. See, I'm failing to find the right words, because it's not like it wouldn't be moment of the year. But as far as like the way it impacted everything, it could have, the way it should have reverberated and changed the scope of things, but it didn't. It just became just another promo, and it was amazing, and it was that next level. But I feel like still they allowed,
heel turn wise, it's up there with
they failed
Hogan
us
as a heel turn alone.
Yeah, it didn't surpass it. Like,
people need to separate the heel turn and heel run.
Yeah, that's the problem. So, I
that
guess
leads me to
Yeah, go ahead.
Go finish up there.
Yeah, go right ahead. What did we lead into?
Show of the year.
All right, so were you asking like PLE or?
Yeah.
Okay, so
anything that categorizes as a show, like if you thought a Raw was better than any of the PLE, anything, show of the year.
See, I was disappointed with the Rumble, and I don't know. I feel like that shouldn't have been the case, but it was.
You want me to go first, son?
Yeah, go please. Hit me. Yes.
I think you can argue the two. I think it's either Evolution, and I'm going to go with this one. I think it's Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I mean it's spawned so much goodness for this channel.
Elimination Chamber, I think, not just in WWE. I think all of wrestling. I think Elimination Chamber was pay-per-view or PLE of the year or show of the year in general.
As we had discussed beforehand, they kind of it's going to be my choice as well. But we got two incredible matches there. We got the incredible bout, the lights out with Zayn and Kevin Owens. So
yeah. The Kevin and Sammy match, the two Elimination Chamber matches, John Cena's heel turn. You had a lot on there.
Yeah, exactly, and
just great.
Like Money in the Bank was a disappointment. The Rumble was a disappointment. WrestleMania Night 2 was like WrestlePalooza wasn't, and we had Drew and Cody, and Drew should have beat Cody. But yeah, going down the list here, I'm trying to think back of everything. Night of Champions wasn't terrible. I probably not copying you, but really, how do you not go with, that as certainly PLE of the year? The Chamber had just everything you could want: drama, storytelling, action, good pacing.
Like it opened up with perfect story because it started off with Naomi and Liv Morgan about to set up, and then Jade Cargill's music hits, and you could read it in Naomi's face, like,
yeah,
oh.
She's like, I'm
hopefully
screwed.
She didn't find out it's me.
Yeah.
Then Liv didn't know she was gonna go after Naomi, so Liv started begging, Jade, I didn't do it, I swear, please. Like, and that was just like a bunch of perfect. That was like all just great.
Yeah.
Liv like begging for mercy, but then she strikes Naomi, then Bianca's freaking out in the pod. What are you doing? Stop it. Like, it was all perfect. That opening to that chamber was awesome. And then the match
just
itself
got better and better.
Good. And then
damn straight.
Like especially with the finals with like people saying bias again with Bianca and Liv, they tore the house down in there. And Jesus Christ, that Bianca hair whip to Liv's stomach, I think it was, that left. You saw that mark?
Yeah, you heard it too.
Holy shit.
But yeah, Jade had a great return at the Chamber. I felt like they kind of didn't capitalize on it enough. But
then the men's Chamber match, the story, like the ending there, John Cena like doing things he would let CM Punk get up first. Like CM Punk got curb stomped by Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
And then John Cena would usually let CM Punk. Then John Cena was looking around. You just facial reactions was key with that.
Yeah.
John Cena entirety entrance to match to the ending. Because if you saw in the beginning when he did his entrance, he did his smile thing, then did a quick evil look in the camera, then went back to, if you remember that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Then John Cena did what he usually wouldn't do. Like when Seth Rollins did that, he ran real quick to put an S to you, like saying, I'm sorry. Like I have to do this. And then Seth Rollins was screaming, die, 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 like to
just sell
Punk. That was
it was great. Exactly. And you got Triple H laughing in the fans' faces saying, oh, I thought you'd be booing me louder, while they're running to the bank. What
happened to this year? Like they started off so hot. The Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, Sammy, Kevin. Oh my God, they started off so fucking hot.
They were still riding the wave that was WrestleMania 40. They were coming off of, unprecedented amount of sellout shows.
Well, all the way down to
big problem with Mania season this year was the overseas shows. So not only did the crowds here miss out on a lot of it, which is your home base where you are having Mania.
They did the European tour right before Mania last year, right?
And that was weeks
this year
and weeks
they're doing
and
it
weeks.
Right before Rumble, right?
Yes, I believe is the plan. They're changing it up a little bit. because it was too much before Mania. The shows were taped or they aired in the middle of the day because you wanted to watch it live. So it never really felt like, oh, Monday night, we're getting into Raw. No, it was like, it's Monday and 11 a.m. and everybody's at work.
Something just felt off about all those shows.
And we're supposed to be excited for Mania. Yeah. And instead we're like making coffee and barely awake. And I get, overseas viewers have had to do that for ages, but say what it is. I mean, I'm appreciative that we have that option with streaming. We do get to see it live, even if it was live tape, whatever. Point being, though, it's still not the ideal way to handle things. And like you said, they had everything what felt like it was established, set, and going in great directions. And then all of a sudden, you know what really I think changed it? I swear, I can't pinpoint or exactly prove it, but to me, and there were issues already. I know people will argue that. But if you look at it with less of a fine-tooth comb and more of like a broad spectrum, wide paintbrush, let's get all the canvas colored. I feel like them moving the location of WrestleMania back to Vegas this year, once they realized like, oh, we could say one thing and not follow through and do what we want, and we're doing it for more money, because that moment when they moved the promised New Orleans WrestleMania this year's going to be in New Orleans. The Rock came out, makes a big stink about it, and we got the Saints marching in, playing behind him, while pyro's going off, and they're not doing it. They're like, guess what? Fuck it.
I feel like that you're right, because after that announcement, I think WWE, after the Elimination Chamber and stuff, but he did the announcement right before Chamber, right?
Yep. And then no more tickets for staff. All that shit started to change.
Elimination Chamber happened.
Yeah.
And then they just went downhill fast.
Exactly. And then we headed right into the overseas, shows. So now.
And all those shows kind of suck.
Exactly. Because they're not live.
The crowds were good. If it wasn't for the crowds, those shows would have been some of the worst shows of the year.
But here's the thing, too.
Italy, I remember, was awesome.
They were great, but it got, I don't want to say repetitive, but it did get to lose a bit of that special aura that comes along with crowds like that. It was
European Raw
we're overexposed to it.
Glorified house shows.
Yes, and so they're giving us these, 6-man tags and nothing of merit, nothing that really matters. It's all just there. So
yeah.
When we start off so strong, like you said, to me, that moment really epitomizes, encapsulates, however you want to label it. It took it by the balls, and it made them be like, oh, we can charge more. And that's when they started saying, oh, we're going to price out families. We're going to raise ticket prices. We could still raise them more. We're not allowing private meet and greets anymore. People have to buy packages. Yeah.
You see, this is an issue about WWE in 2025. This is a best of show, but we can't find a way to talk about best of without talking about bad still.
Exactly.
This is an issue with
that's the problem. It's not like, oh, the creative was just bad this year, so I'm upset because Gunther isn't still the champ. It's nothing like that. I'm upset that I'm not going to be able to see wrestling for a very long time to come because it's so expensive. Now it's not entertainment, it's a luxury item. We mentioned it off air before, the Brock Lesnar guy, the green t-shirt guy, everybody's slowing down in this stuff. Brock Lesnar t-shirt guy just said he's done. He hung up his shirt and retired because he can't afford it.
Green t-shirt guy, the guy that just sits at every fucking show ever.
He's
gonna back out.
He's backing up for some stuff too, and because he was, I don't know if it wasn't a WWE lawsuit as we had originally been told, and I was like, it doesn't seem entirely up to snuff. No, the guy just has money and he works through On Premiere or whatever it is, and he goes and he buys the tickets through them. Those seats are not sold to the general public each time. They're reserved with X amount of price point. So he basically gets to go in and say, I have all this money. I want this seat every time. Oh, here's the money. And he just spends thousands of dollars at every show to do it. I mean, he got his own entrance. Right. But it's not a creative issue. It's not like we're being like, oh, Jay didn't win. This is bullshit. We're going to riot. No, it's, guys, I can't, take my daughter and her boyfriend anymore. That's not happening. I can't go ahead and afford to, now we got to split it up again because we have to go to ESPN Plus and Peacock and Netflix and and when it was just, excuse me, only $9.99 a month at one point with the network. Yep. it's gotten, everything has a subscription, everything has, all these terms and conditions. It's out of control. And the biggest change has not even really happened yet, but it's starting to really be cracked down on. You see, like, it's not a family environment anymore. Not that guys would bring their wives or children, obviously, backstage, but they would have, family meets and all that kind of stuff. I guess that's slowed down, allegedly. We've also seen things where, like, no more comp tickets and people have to buy tickets. You had, Lana talking about it, amongst others. Yeah.
We didn't even, it's not even an offense to Lana. I think people are like, why are you criticizing her? Like, we didn't think she meant anything bad by it. Like, when they're pricing out poor fans, and we know you're a multi-millionaire complaining, "Oh, I have to buy tickets."
Yeah, but the principle is
just
there.
Comes off.
It makes it so that no one feels special, really. And
I agree. See, I agree with that in a way. Like, I think if you're an active wrestler, you should get comp tickets for your friends and family.
Yeah,
not even friends, family, like your parents, siblings.
Not anymore, and. Is
that where you draw the line with parents and siblings?
Yeah, I wouldn't allow all the plus ones and let everybody
friends and stuff. Like, why are you can't even get free tickets for your friends anymore? I don't think you should, honestly.
No, that's friends? A different beast. If you want to say, oh, they get discounted tickets, sure, but still pay something because you're taking it away from the fan,
and,
essentially.
Brothers, sisters.
Yeah,
that's
immediate family.
Yeah.
Husband, kids, whatever. That's it.
Husband, kids, mothers, fathers.
Yeah, wives, whatever you want to put. But John Cena's farewell tour, as much as we didn't love it the entire way through, I didn't hate it either. I appreciate the novelty that was the idea behind letting John say goodbye one last year to go everywhere he can fit into the schedule to say thank you all for all you have given me and my life and my family, and I appreciate you all. And he got that. He really did. Like, even if it wasn't the ending the fans wanted, it was the ending John wanted. He put over Gunther, he got to say goodbye, and he walks out without his shoes humbled. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the amount of effort, work, planning, everything that went into him being involved in just about, I think, all but one PLE he was in. He did everything. He was at every show and was raring to go. Every show they had agreed to put him at. But he originally said, like we had discussed a lot of, he was going to do the entire year, 220 dates. And they're like, no, you're crazy. But he wanted to. Why they wouldn't have utilized him more, I don't know. But not wrestling either. Just bring him out there to talk more. Jesus, let him have more battles. Let him have more promo battles with his future opponents. Him and AJ barely spoke to each other, and then they had this great introduction, like they've been incessant rivals. Yeah, they had a good rivalry, but it was what, like 6 months? Yeah.
Give me your return of the year.
Ooh. I would go with Ilya Dragunov, honestly. I was hoping
that's fair.
I was hoping it would kind of Livs didn't count to the where I was hoping for. She, we haven't seen her even really get physical yet. House shows don't count. And I'm trying to think who else made like a big triumphant return this year.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because people are going to be like, she had matches at house shows this past week.
Yeah.
They don't count. Ilya Dragunov might be it, I guess.
Alexa Bliss was a really good return at the Rumble. I mean, that you couldn't hear her theme song over the screaming of fans. Like, that was a really cool moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What about yourself? What are you thinking?
That's like tough. Like, I guess, fuck.
I know.
The Jade one was good. Like, I guess Jade, if you want to call it a return.
Yeah, I mean, she was kayfabe injured, but yeah, still.
Liv, you can make an argument, I guess, but.
I mean, because she still got involved with Cena. It's a big deal. She impacted the match to help Dom win, so you could still say it's effective, certainly, but it didn't have the staying power.
5.
Yeah, probably in the top 10 range, absolutely. But here's the thing. It's like, it's, as much as they were there was still that one element that was missing. And I'm still not even sure how to, form it properly into words. Words are difficult today, but granted, yeah, I feel like that's the case. And there were some amazing matches
Ilya
this
Dragunov
year.
might be it.
I feel like he's probably got to be the pick for me with the open challenge, with him coming back from that severe injury and now being able to just dominate again. And people didn't know really what to make of him at first. They were kind of like, who is this, rabid Russian that's just, running around like a loose Wolverine. Huh? And,
You know it.
yeah, rabid Wolverines. What are you going to do, Timberwolves? And we get to see him in action. That's right. It was, that kind of stuff. I'm excited for more of the NXT call-ups. I'm not a fan of the soft call-up that they've been doing, where they're, still in NXT and having feuds, but then they slowly bring them up on the main roster and then they call them up. I wish they would just bring them on. Done with NXT, cut off the umbilical cord, let them go. That's what you need.
Fair. Yeah.
I'm sold on, like, one of my favorite matches of this year. I go back and forth between the Rumble and then after with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. I mean, holy shit. These guys, that ladder match, though.
Kevin Owens didn't get hurt and need that surgery and stuff. Like, he could have been in one of our discussions, maybe for Superstar of the Year.
Yeah. And that ladder match, whew, that was
awesome.
That was incredible. All the way back February 1st at the Rumble, as we mentioned. Their feud started at Bad Blood and obviously escalated, but he was mad at him for, just essentially working with the enemy. And from there off to the races. I'm just going to ramble off matches as they come to mind, but like John Cena taking on Logan Paul multiple times, and the match that they had in Paris was damn good. It was really entertaining. I was genuinely surprised at how effortless Paul makes it look at times. And that pisses me off even more, that he's able to move in such a way that looks so convincing without really looking like he's trying.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else. Obviously, we discussed it previously, but Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. I have rewatched this several times, and I'm not a person that usually goes back and rewatches matches a ton. It's like, unless we're doing a review specifically, like a flashback thing, I've rewatched this from the moment go onwards. It was so perfectly executed, and the match was so intense that, she's got a fingering issue still, and Bianca's not back to this point. So it's been, 9 months roughly. Rhea, Io, Bianca, this was an instant classic. And people say that, but no, legitimately, like, this will be on lists. This will be on whatever the end of the year stuff for the future, all that best Mania matches, best triple threats, it's all there. They are going to sweep the whole category.
Indeed.
We were talking about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens as well. We were talking about Kevin Owens before the match they had at the Chamber. We've gone over that ad nauseum with Toronto and everybody up there.
Yo, we clutched up in Toronto.
Shout out to Spaz, keeping it cold in the upper north neighbor. I was the one that liked the Punk Roman Rollins match a bit less than you. I know you it wasn't your favorite, but you certainly were higher on it than I was. But even that was still it was a good match,
You didn't like it?
I didn't love it, but I people, because I say like it wasn't my favorite, instantly it's like, oh, so you hate it? And it's like, no, I just didn't love it. Oh, so you hate it? And it's like, no, it's just not my favorite. And they're like, oh, so you hate wrestling? And I'm like, oh, fuck me. That's about how it goes on Twitter. But yeah, I felt like the turn that they were trying to be so deviously masterminded, perfectly set up this whole scenario, and it was like, yeah, of course Paul's turning on them both and going to side with Seth. I remember Okayfabe and I being like, yeah, that's what's happening, like back in November of last year before the Chamber even happened, or the War Games match even happened. So we said, shit's going down. This is what, right after it happened, excuse me. Any tag team match on SmackDown up until they got rid of the 3-hour, time frame, because the Motor City Machine Guns came in white hot. That match with Street Profits, DIY, and the Motor City Machine Guns, a triple threat on SmackDown, that cooked. That was such a great match. And there's a lot like that. That was back April 25th. And that was after, Mania, but still building up to the TLC match with the tag teams. That was a huge culmination of everything. And I'm just, I'm appreciative of how much good wrestling we got. And as much as we said it was a difficult year for certain bad decisions, a lot of the bad decisions weren't all in the ring. A lot of it was the corporate stuff. And that's why I would say the biggest blunder of the year is them raising prices to the point where fans can't attend. But the positive with TKOs, it's all right, well, they are traveling worldwide more so. They're visiting more areas, so more people get a chance to see them. And people are having more chances to do meet and greets and stuff, the way it's handled with Fanatics. It's just that it's very expensive.
Right.
Any other matches to throw out? Hit me with them. John Cena, Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. Obviously, so much better than 41.
I honestly argue that the Cena and Randy match this past year is one of their better matches they've ever had against each other.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. A lot of the matches he had this retirement year are up on that upper echelon, top tier level.
As long as we don't talk about the Cody Rhodes, John Cena
original, yes. We got to be careful what we bring up there.
Hey, you never know. You can argue the Cody Rhodes, John Cena matches are the worst match of the year and best match of the year.
I've seen that happen, I swear, once before too. But it was kind of fun, the Usos taking each other on, but then teaming together as well. So what a stat for John. He must love knowing that.
Yeah.
And, what about Crown Jewel, AJ and Cena? That was a love letter to wrestling and everything.
I think that was a love letter to wrestling. I think there was more of that than actual great wrestling match. If you want to go wrestling match, I think Cody and Cena was the better match at SummerSlam, but moment-wise, I think John Cena and AJ Styles as a wrestling match moment is better.
Yeah. What was your biggest shock moment of the year? While you're thinking, one that really stood out to me.
All the shocks that led to disappointments, though, because that was their thing.
Yeah. Well, not all. I think one of the shocks that 411 Mania brought up that I totally kind of just overlooked was the shocking announcement of WWE buying AAA. They bring out all the luchadors and they're like, hey, who had this on their bingo card? Before what? Before we fire all you assholes, because we now have your contracts. And WWE bought them up. And right. I was genuinely shocked at that. I didn't foresee that coming. I thought it was just rumors and rumblings. That was a big get for them. And I feel like that's been a major positive so far. They've gotten their characters over on US TV, whatever you want to call it. And they've continued to sell out. I mean, the last show they did in Mexico was gigantic. And it was all sold out. So, I mean, that's certainly something fun to see. But besides that, for me, even though it was predictable, I would say the OMG or the shocking moment was AJ Lee's return. Because even though we were all saying it, it's been a long time. It's been 10 years. And not everybody comes back and not everybody can do it again.
AJ Lee is probably that shock moment of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's not a lot of
absolutely
good things left, so I want to ask you this question then.
Yes.
What do you want to see different for 2026?
Ooh, I want. It sounds so cliche to be more storytelling, but that's really what we need because things take forever to progress. We get the vision out there, opening and closing every show, and what do they say? We're the future. We're the future. We're the future. We're the future. When is the future? Tomorrow? Well, how do we get there if we're stuck in today, boys? A lot of like that. The death by 1,000 cuts. It's not like it's one specific thing. The ticket price gouging is disgusting. The reseller market is horrible. And I know Liz is going to Dynamite in a couple weeks, and it was super cheap because of, one of the apps she had, SeatGeek, gave you a big discount. It's like, yeah, it's also AEW, but it's a rarity, to get anything for even a moderate cost. So you priced fans out from going, and you've taken away the house show loop, so people are practicing less. Oh, there's less injuries. Maybe, but people were also able to work through things better because they were, I don't want to say calloused, but, they were hardened by bumping regularly. They say it hurts more now because they're only doing it once a week, sometimes once a month, depending on what the story is. Some guys go a month and a half without wrestling, and then they're like, oh, shit, my hip's killing me. But there are glimpses of good and gold in here, and I'm genuinely curious to see where we go with a few, not just storylines, but elements in general. Like, are we really going to do the whole face thing with Seth? How does this play out? We've heard rumblings about them wanting to get rid of the brand split and make it more like a soft thing. That would be interesting. A lot of what ifs in the air, and I've read, heard, and seen little bit tidbits that there's going to be a lot of small changes with production, with, audio, with that they're going to try and elevate the product even more. My worry is the last time they did that, they gave us those stupid AR, birds flipping out of Riddle's flip-flops and shit. We had that stuff hanging from the rafters that was awful.
For me, what I want to see different is that only WrestleMania and SummerSlam can you have a major title change.
Yes, preach it, brother. That's a great one. Damn. I'm going to steal that. Hold on. Let me pause the recording. And, Cody, I have a great idea. What? No, but really, though, like, it is a great idea because I've cried about this numerous times now. It really is. It's sickening because why? Why does everyone need 1,000-day title reign? And so here's another thing. Like, Jade is the champion now. She has not defended her belt one time yet. Been like 40 some odd days. Not once has she gone ahead and defended it whatsoever. 56 days, excuse me. Not one title defense. The same thing happened to Tiffany Stratton for a long time, and then it was just nothing but Nia. They want to have the OMG moment. They want to have but then they just let their champions have props. They're not titles, they're props. They're letting them hold on to these replicas because that's what they are, replica champions. They're not legitimate title holders. And that's on them. I truly mean it, Cody, as well. Like, the belts do not feel special. One, because there are so many, it's like, all right, you need a champion on both shows. I still say you alternate. You have your main women's champ on one show and the men's IC over there. You have the women's, mid-card on Raw with the men's main title, and then you can alternate. And that's if you need a damn brand split. I would just say, fuck it. Cut the belts down. Get rid. Not everybody needs to be a champ.
That's why I've always said, let everyone on Raw and SmackDown. I think that would improve both shows. Let there be one world champion. Let there be one set of tag team champions. I think, like a bunch of duplicate champions, I think makes it less meaningful because, like, AEW, for example, because they have a championship for everybody.
Sadly, yes. And that was the thing, like with Okada losing his belt, but he loses the unified title, but then he doesn't. And oh boy, yeah, I think it's not just lessening the titles, but like a few weeks ago, I was so excited, legitimately excited, because I was like, wow, they really fleshed out the women's tag division. They had 6 or 7 teams out there at the end of the night. And here we are. I'm telling you, they got to have a women's TLC. They got to do this. And then no follow-up. Half of the women disappeared. The other half fucked off to Pierce's or Aldis's locker room to chat in his office. And that was it. Oh, we want a title shot. And he's like, and? And it's like, well, I beat her. And he's like, and? How is that entertaining? Where is that going? How is that interesting? Like, it's not. And that's the huge give here. That's what kills me, because there should be excitement when a fucking champion comes out, when someone walks out of the arena and says, I am here. God damn it. We should be paying attention. This should be important. But it feels skippable. It feels like I could just miss it. Do I really need to go and see any of it? Do I absolutely need to tune in? Well, doesn't feel that way anymore, does it?
No.
Sadly. And that's something that bothers me, because I genuinely enjoy wrestling. Sitting here, you and I racked our brains. Like Maxine Dupree is definitely a really good improvement wrestler. She showcases why it is good to invest in people and give them a chance and allow them to have some growth, because she has improved exponentially. We've seen it before our eyes. Stephanie Vacour had an amazing year. Mine and yours picks for breakout star and star of the year. We talked about breakout for the men's being Dominic, and women's tag team of the year. I would say it has to be Alexa and Charlotte, right?
Alexa and Charlotte, yeah.
Because no other women's tag team got to that level.
You can argue, I would say my top three, that carried those tag titles, if you want to go based off that. Alexa, Charlotte, Jade and Bianca, and Liv and Raquel.
Alexa, Charlotte, Jade and Bianca, and Liv and Raquel. Yeah, I agree with that. Liv and Raquel were like the front runners for a while, and then the Kabuki Warriors. If Liv didn't
get hurt, I would say Raquel and Liv are tag team of the year.
Yeah, they probably would have had many more defenses.
Not just for the men. I think tag team of the year in general. Women's or men's. I think Liv and Raquel would have been. Again, people are going to say I'm biased, but
it's better than the Uso stuff.
But Alexa and Charlotte are arguably tag team of the year in general as well.
People are like, oh, you keep saying you want something new, then you poop on it. It's like, no, I want something new that's entertaining, goddammit. You've got the talent. They're building up Obafemi. They're showing, vignettes on both shows, Raw and SmackDown. You don't know where he's going. You see Javon and Trick and all the... I'm excited for the future. But then I see the Kabuki Warriors, Kairi, screaming at each other for honor, and it turns into a total disaster. So they gave the men's tag team of the year to Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker.
Ew.
Yeah, I would take the Wyatt Six or even the MFTs over that. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, what? Because they won at WrestlePalooza? That doesn't feel warranted at all. That feels ridiculous. So no, the tag division, was never made to feel appreciated, feel lucky, feel like, it belonged kind of thing. And they started to really pull shit off. They did it, Cody. They got fans believing again. And then nothing. They just cut it right off. Circumcision all the way, just the tip, but it's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, we did. We had it. We had those amazing fucking tag team matches, one after the other. Like, it was just incredible. And then nothing. Just silence.
Nothing at all.
So people said match of the year was CM Punk and Gunther from night one of SummerSlam, or night two being John Cena and Cody Rhodes. If I had to choose between those two, I'd obviously pick Cody, and I would pick Cena. Their match together, everything we got. Love it. Second time.
Hell yeah.
For the women, they said the wrestlers Io Sky, hard to argue against her. For the men, CM Punk. And, their favorite match was a triple threat at Mania. Compiling through all the lists, I was like, what are some of our favorite moments? And I looked back to Backlash, and I was thinking about Lyra and Becky. We discussed them earlier. That was a really good match. I enjoyed that. They had just so many great near falls in that match. I mentioned the 6-team table ladders and chairs match from SummerSlam, the night two. God damn, was that good. You didn't need story. You just needed to beat the shit out of each other. And that's exactly what we got. The only thing I would change is for future, this doesn't have to do with this, but for like the tag team stuff, I would make this permanent. Have some type of big title change or title match for the tag team every SummerSlam. It doesn't have to necessarily be TLC. I'd prefer it, but something big.
Right.
Ilya put on a lot of great open challenge matches. Even Pat McAfee taking on Gunther, I enjoyed. I thought it was fun. Gunther maybe should have won a little bit quicker because he didn't look like he was a vulture picking his food apart. He looked instead like it was like, oh, Pat's giving me a little bit more of a rough time than I realized. Or at least that's how it comes across. I mentioned the triple threat for the tag match on SmackDown. Gunther and John Cena, I don't care for that match, really. And the ending was just very disappointing. Speaking of disappointing ending, I know people go nuts when we say this, but Rhea Ripley, Io Sky are having a 9 out of 10 match, 4.5 out of 5. Those stars had aligned. And then Naomi cashes in and just ruins the ending. I wish she let them have the goddamn match conclude, then cash in. I know they wanted to protect both of them, but these are the decisions that they really need to step up on. They need to go ahead and take risks. Because if not, what's the goddamn point, Cody?
There's no point.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I mean,
yeah, that's sad, but we really tried to pull through the best of the year as far as things we really enjoyed. We both agreed on Elimination Chamber. What are you most looking forward to yourself in 2026?
I'm looking like gotta see. You know what? Can't go back on it now, so I'm looking forward to hopefully them capitalizing on Gunther, making him a dastardly heel. You need to capitalize on that. Looking forward to more story-based driven stuff. Even
Hopefully.
stuff like 3 Stages of Hell with European SmackDown. I believe they're going to be starting their European tour, right? When? Next week?
Yes.
Or the week after?
Week after, I believe, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah, this upcoming week, obviously we'll be live if you guys are hearing this now, this Friday for the SmackDown 3-hour premiere, debut, renewal, whatever we want to call it. We're going to be going ahead and having a blast there. So come hang out with us. We'll also be making a few news updates, have some predictions for Monday's show and Tuesday's NXT New Year's Evil. So it's going to be a big episode for the SmackDown review. And then, of course, we've got more coming to you over the weekend. We've got the Netflix anniversary. It's also the 1-year anniversary of Into Somewhere. So this Monday, going to be a big celebration. Can't wait to have everybody join us for that and the reviews. And, of course, Tuesday NXT for their big New Year's Evil night, which is a mini PLE, but should be a pay-per-view regardless. And then Wednesday, Into Somewhere Weekly returns. We've got our predictions, we've got our results, and we got to catch up on some football. So we got a lot coming up on the horizon. But in the meantime, my friend, thank you so much for everything this entire year. It's been a pleasure beyond what words can describe having you as, my co-host, my second in command, the steer of the ship. I appreciate you far more than you
had a good fathom. 2025 we for a better 2026.
Couldn't have said it better myself. For Cody and Jake, find all of our socials in the description box down below. And until then, we will see you all next time. Stay sexy.